smarts and my...
He told me enough.
No, I.
Here's Chuck.
Well, all I can say is I'm not gonna punch shit for this one because compared to two worse horror movies I've seen this year, this one is better than those two. I would say it's not as bad as those because maybe there were some decent things about it. But the thing is, I'm not gonna give this movie a fucking pass for not having an original story, not having characters you can sympathize with or like, and having them be criminals. Yeah, and essentially having like goofy ass moments that it's impossible to take this movie seriously. Yeah, but now it's Don G. Corleone here, and yeah, I'm here with I guess RANT for a third horror movie I've seen this year. Trust me, guys. Guys, I'll watch like horror films like Immaculate later. I've heard good things about that. And before you're going, why are you ranting on every horror movie this year? Lisa Frankenstein was a horror comedy, and I liked that movie. Okay, there's one horror thing I liked this year so far, and plus we're not even in the middle of the year yet for horror. I haven't even seen Immaculate yet, guys. But I've heard people liked it. I'll watch that movie when I get the chance to. Okay, so we're not through 2024 with horror just yet. Before people start criticizing me for not liking every horror movie that comes out this year. The ones I've watched so far have been cheap, generic garbage. Okay, Night Swim was garbage. Imaginary was hilarious garbage. And then it comes to this movie. I am here with a rant for this. I'm allowed to dislike what I want. Okay? People really need to deal with that. If I don't like a movie they like, so too bad. Simple. If you guys don't want to hear what I have to say, don't watch the video. Go watch something else. Because this review is gonna be negative. Okay? I just did not like this movie. So yeah, this is going to be for a horror film this time from the new Scream guys, Radio Silence. Yeah, good names. It's great names. Great names I want to hear. Yeah, especially after last year. Yeah, it's not another Scream movie. This time it's a ballerina vampire, 12-year-old kid movie. And that is going to be for last weekend's Abigail. The feature they did after Scream 6. So yeah, what's the plot of Abigail? Let's get into this now. Like, after a group of would-be criminals, they kidnap a 12-year-old ballerina daughter. Yeah, these are our great protagonists, being kid kidnappers. And probably who are willing to perfectly torture a kid and kidnap her for money. These are great characters I like. All they have to do now is collect 50 million ransom so they can watch the girl overnight. Then in the mansion, the captors then dwindle one by one, and they'd have to discover that they're locked with no normal little girl. It's a vampire little girl. So yeah, well, how was this made? Well, it was going to be a reboot of Dracula's Daughter that was in development like April of last year, with Radio Silence as the directors, and Shields and Busick would be hired to write the screenplay. Then he announced the film would be a co-production between Radio Silence, their company Radio Silence Productions, James Vanderbilt, Paul Nielsen, and William Sherrock's Project X Entertainment, and Sir Vincent's Vincent Films. And Barber was cast that month, and And many other, like, actors, like Weir, Stevens, Newton, Duran, Cloud. Yeah, their Scream collaborator Barrero was cast the same month, and then the co-stars like Weir, Stevens, Newton, Duran, Cloud, and Catlett were hired. And Giancarlo from Breaking Bad was even rounded out the main cast in June last year. So yeah, that was one red flag. They literally announced this a year before it released. Yeah. That was one red flag. When you plan a movie, don't wait till the year before it comes out to announce it. Because that's fucking lazy. But anyway, filming began in Dublin, Ireland. But then, of course, the actor strike happened, so they suspended it in July. Then of course, but then the actor's strike ended, so filming resumed, and then wrapped in December. It was the last one like Cloud had worked on during his life because he had died on July 2023. And the film was dedicated to him, and Brian Tyler composed the score. So, after this movie was shot and marketed, Abigail had its premiere at the Overlook Film Festival at the beginning of this month on April 7, 2024, and would be released into theaters last weekend on April 19th, 2024, and it's gotten positive reviews from critics. Now as for my reaction, I'll elaborate who Radio Silence is. I'm not a fan of Radio Silence, guys. I have not seen Ready or Not, but I have seen the Scream movies they did. I tolerated Scream 5. Y'all remember when I did my review for Scream 5, how at the time I first saw it when it came out, I loved it at that time. But that was back when I was a Holly Weird obsessed idiot that almost could have turned into Kevin Smith had he not woke up. Thank God I ain't that anymore. And honestly, the Scream 5 just has not aged well over time. However, what I can agree with the people who hated Scream 5, I definitely did not like Scream 6. The first time I watched Scream 6, it was meh. Then second watch, it was fucking worse. Scream 6, I agree, sucks. They were going to do Scream 7, but then all the trouble that happened, and then of course they exited Scream 7, and they chose to direct this movie instead. And honestly, it's like, I don't care what jack shit happens to that Scream franchise. Just let Scream die. No 7th movie. Just fucking let that franchise die, please. I'm done with Scream. Being everywhere I go. And then, for their non-Scream stuff that I did see, I can't say anything about Ready or Not because I have not watched it, but I know they did the last segment of the first VHS movie, aka Very Horrible Shit. And the one that was called 10/31/98, the Halloween segment at the end of the movie that happens right after the end of the shitty wraparound. And we all know that was from the view of a nanny cam costume, a teddy bear nanny cam costume. And that was the one segment of that movie that actually felt like it belonged on a VHS tape because it's set in the year 1998. Has kind of the feel of a creep show segment. It has the concept of a horror segment. Yeah, the concept of a VHS anthology segment. And I'll admit, I still like Amateur Night more, but this segment, compared to all the other after Amateur Night segments of the film, this one was the most alright, the least annoying, because it was the one short of that movie where the characters weren't rapey assholes, or just bored to death losers like in the honeymoon segment. What ruined that segment, though, was the downer ending. Yes, I know, for those of you who are going to bring up the alternate ending, yes, I know about the alternate ending, guys, where the guys survive. They should have just left that as the real ending because it would have been refreshing and creative. Now, this is 8 minutes long now. Let's get on with Abigail, not make this too damn long. I had no hope for this movie when I saw the trailers because of who it was directed by. They recently did the bad Scream 6, and the premise looked like another Don't Breathe again. And guys, before you say, but that's a critically acclaimed movie, isn't that a good thing? No, I don't think Don't Breathe is good. That's another film I used to like back then, and it's really also not aged well. At all. A part of me did want to have hope for this movie, guys. I mean, it was a vampire kid film, and at least she'd be getting revenge on her kidnappers. But guess what, guys? My predictions were right. This film was an overrated donkey dick piece of shit. Is it as bad as Imaginary or Night Swim? No, definitely not. It's an improvement over those, but this movie still sucks. There were a few things I liked about this film more than those crappy films. This film, honestly, was boring as hell. Nobody except for one character were not likable. In fact, like, hell, I wanted just about a majority of these side characters to die. They think, like, kidnapping a 12-year-old for ransom money to get better lives? Yeah, no. If those are supposed to be our main characters, guys who are willing to kidnap and hurt a child, you're supposed to actually like these people? I don't. Well, no, I don't want a protagonist like that. I don't want protagonists being fucking criminals or fucking kidnappers. I can't connect. I don't want to connect with a story like that. Yeah, so, and thinking like kidnapping a kid so they can get money from their dad. No, how about, if you want money so bad, how about go get a fucking job, you dumbasses? What this movie was just a ballerina dancing vampire 12-year-old girl who just randomly decided to become Jigsaw and turn the whole story into a fucking Saw movie or a Saw sequel with twists in the concept with elements from Don't Breathe. So yeah, take a good movie and take a shitty movie. Combine them into one and you have this. Like, the film had a promising first 30 or so minutes with some bit of tension and journey, then thread the needle and kidnap the little girl. And then after that, though, we get glimmers of writers giving us motivation of the characters' parts, why they do the kidnapping job, and want to remain with, and think we're supposed to remain with them throughout the journey. Like, no, you don't. Like, you don't get much inner or outer conflict, or transformation, or dramatic content. Like, yeah, like, but the writers, like, they literally spend nearly all the energy on Melissa's character Joey and her baggage instead of exploring what's right in front of them. This little girl and the human reaction to human children. And our crew, like, instead of, like, being put through a psychological ordeal, they're treated like fucking Saw characters. Yeah, hence why this is a fucking Saw ripoff. The worst possible sense, and just, like, now, I'll give credit to the gore when they die, but the writers just fail to make the story relatable, emotional, or intelligent. Like, I start with the movie, because, yeah, these characters are already shit. 6 criminals, it begins with them capturing a ballerina dancer, who's named Abigail, and is the daughter of this underworld figure within New York City. And she's brought to a mansion. So, Informal Lambert, the group leader, who their group is led by, they're all told not to disclose any information on themselves to Abigail. And they have to, like, and are derived from this Rat Pack. This group consists of this medic, this drug addict stoner guy, this former detective, this hacker, a sociopathic driver, a marine sniper, and a dim-witted mob enforcer. Then after 24 hours, we're going to get a $7 million check as long as Abigail is kept alive and safe. So Joey gets sent to watch over her, and then they do start to bond, and I will admit I do like the scenes between them. I'll give props for that. They did have some good scenes. Like, and Joey reveals she has a son, then Joey leaves, and Abigail warns her about what's going to transpire during the night. Then our criminals and our lead girl, like, Joey was easily, I think, the one of these guys I could tolerate. Then you have, like, our former detective guy, Frank, like, yeah, then when it comes to the other characters, we get to our former crew person, Frank. A former detective, Frank, who literally just sounds like a discount James Woods, and easily has a predictable twist of being evil. And then you have our other chick, Sammy, who's played by Catherine Newton, recently after Lisa Frankenstein, which I like this year. Sammy was easily the dumbest of all of them, and has the personality of a literal door to almost everything that goes on. And then you have our character Peter, this douchey, muscular guy that clearly must think he's either Jean-Claude Van Damme or Arnold Schwarzenegger combined. And to me, that's a big insult, because even their characters and most of the characters in their movies they've done are more likable than any of these posers. Yeah, Van Damme poser, get the fuck out of my action movie block. And then you have a stoner named Dean who literally sounds like Mikey from Mutant Mayhem. And that's not a compliment. That's not a good compliment, guys. I guess, like, I'm surprised that during watching this girl, he didn't start rapping to bacon, egg, and cheese on twerking his ass while he was at it. I'm surprised that didn't happen. Wouldn't have been surprised if it did. So yeah, this take on Dracula's daughter just failed so miserably. Even if it was intended as a serious take on the myth, it just, all we got was a black comedy failing in every aspect. Like, it was just to basically present Dracula's daughter as his teen ballerina, and it's definitely not funny, it just sucks, and it is really a bad idea that makes no sense. And like, seriously, and like, throughout this movie, they try to be all scary, but instead you just get literally, yeah, the movie's just a black comedy, because there's too many jokes and almost a load of scares. Right there. Like, just some, like, Abigail's about as horrifying and thrilling as this tired out vampire genre just continues to be. When it's not done by people who know what they're doing. Got boring jump scares, boring asshole characters that are neither interesting nor likable to sit through. Like, I'm sure they're not meant to be likable, or at least I hope they weren't supposed to be likable people. I mean, like, there's some good actors in this movie, but most of the material they get to work with was not really great. Like, the story of this poor excuse of a vampire movie is just as boring as the characters. There's just nothing here. There's gore, there's action, but that just means nothing when you don't care for the characters. So yeah, like, during the whole watch process, after our stoner loser guy flirts with Newton's character, he then enters the basement, and then he gets dragged away, so Newton hears his screams, and then investigates, and we find, like, the loser stoner guy is the first to die. Because his corpse is seen. Then, Discount James Woods confronts Newton, and demands to know who her Discount James Woods confronts Abigail, and demands to know who her father is. And then we find out Abigail's father is a guy named Christoph, who's a feared crime lord. Then, of course, our black guy, our Jean-Claude Van Damme poser, one of them tries to leave, but then a security system activates, and they're locked inside. They look for another way out. And then, of course, so yeah, it was the black guy. The black guy gets mauled to death. Then, of course, Discount James Woods tells poser Jean-Claude Van Damme to kill Abigail. But then, of course, Joey intervenes. And then during this whole thing, Abigail then transforms into a vampire, and the group immediately flees in terror. So the group is now distressed. They're trying to figure out ways to kill Abigail because bullets can't physically harm her. So Discount James Woods, poser Jean-Claude Van Damme and Newton find Abigail dancing with with loser Stoner's headless body. And so they try to use all the predictable methods to kill a vampire. Garlic, stakes, and holy crosses. And guess what, guys? They fail. They get their asses kicked in minutes. They lose easily and they're unsuccessful. So yeah, just get knocked to the fucking side. Like that. As if in a comedy movie. You want to know what this scene felt like? Here's what, guys. This scene literally felt like a fucking Scary Movie sequel. No, not the ones with done by the Wayans brothers. I mean like one of the shitty ones that comes after Scary Movie 2. Any of the three that come after Scary Movie 2. Yeah, they get taken out like characters in a fucking Scary Movie sequel. Hell, I was just waiting for Anna Farise's character, or Regina Hall's characters, or any of the Wayans brothers characters from the first two movies to show up and start laughing at their asses while eating popcorn, and considering them even stupider than any of them. Hell, even those four characters in the first two movies are more funnier to watch than any of these idiots who can't figure out how to kill a fucking vampire easily. They're not this stupid when encountering horror foes. And if during the times they're stupid, they're at least meant to be stupid. Because it's a comedy series. Yeah, this reminded me of those. Sorry about the interruption, guys. Alright. It's all taken care of now. But anyways, when the writing is done well and could have gone deeper, or like, the romantic war between the Newton and loser Stoner's characters, but then the effort just gets abandoned by the writers and edited the final cut of the script, and like it's like they decided, okay, our loser Stoner has no purpose in this movie, so we'll kill him off because he has no purpose to be in the film. And even have the discount James Woods interact with Abigail in this provocative manner. Then that also gets abandoned on, and then discount James Woods just becomes a raging goon with zero personality and zero reason why. You even get 2 3-minute exposition scenes in the movie where a character just stops the film dead in its tracks and has to explain the backstories of everybody. Like, it wouldn't be, like, unbearable if these characters weren't unlikable, but none of them have interesting backstories. They're just showing what all the crimes they do. Make them even more likable now. Yeah, wasting his time trying to flesh them out. It ends up being this, like, complete cliche waste. And even, like, this gag where the loser poser Jean-Claude Van Damme wannabe screams like a little girl. Yeah, where have we seen the little girl scream in millions of fucking movies before? Like lots of fucking comedies. When has that joke not been done to death? Everywhere? Yeah. Like, none of those were effective. The editing is something you'd expect from a horror short, even. The sound design is egregious and really not even great either. And then the needle drops are even cringe as hell. There's, like, no moments of tension or thrill. So, yeah. After all their stupid attempts to try to kill Abigail, they managed to finally knock her out and sedate her. And then Abigail awakes. And Abigail then reveals she knows the kidnappers' identities, and apparently there was not an actual kidnapping. There was all just a trick to trap them in that place. And Lambert actually set them up for her to kill because they Ron Kristoff. Like, seriously. And apparently we find out Newton literally just, like, I think, like, it's heard that Newton's character had stole money from her folks, or definitely hacks a lot of money. Yeah, like, they reveal more crimes to make these guys more likable. If you're trying to make these guys more likable, you're not doing a good job. If you're showing these guys commit more crimes. And apparently Joey was a deadbeat, or Melissa's character was a deadbeat. That's why she barely has contact with her son. So yeah, Melissa deduces Abigail was killing her father's enemies. An attempt to win his love. Then they leave Discount James Woods in charge of watching her. Then Abigail breaks out of the cage and starts choking Discount James Woods. So then Melissa rips wooden planks off a window, exposes Abigail to the sunlight, and it turns out, because it's a vampire, so sunlight is her weakness. So she's immune to stakes, she's immune to crosses, she's immune to garlic, but she's not immune to sunlight? Wow! And only hours are left before nightfall, so the group has to split up and find a way out. Yeah, that's gonna be predictable in a horror movie. Yeah, what's one of the rules of a horror movie? Never split up? Because that ends with bad results? Have they ever heard of that? No, probably not. Because these guys are fucking idiots. Like a lot of damn horror movies. So yeah. Because, like, Newton's character, like I forgot to mention, got bit during one of their attacks. Newton then turns into a vampire under Abigail's control, and then literally feeds on loser poser Jean-Claude Van Damme wannabe, and then kills him. So then Abigail then has Newton attack Discount James Woods and Melissa, and it forces Discount James Woods forces Melissa to literally destroy Newton with reflected sunlight. And with that, guys, like, we are on to the literal finale of this forgettable-ass flick, because I don't care, I don't want to spend 30 or 40 damn minutes talking about this fucking film. You now have 3 characters left. You have Abigail left, you have Melissa's character left, the one likable character of this group, and you have Discount James Woods left. And how will this go? Well, here it all goes. So, Melissa and Discount James Woods try to deactivate the security measures. Then they find the mansion's control room and they run into Giancarlo's character. Yeah, where the fuck was he during all this? Like, if you're gonna cast I like Giancarlo, guys. I like him in The Mandalorian first 2 seasons. I loved him in Breaking Bad. Yeah, he ended up also. I know last year he also voiced that hobo-looking Stockman in TMNT Mutant Mayhem, and he's wasted a year and he gets nothing to do. So yeah, they cast a great actor from two good shows. Well, first bit of a show, anyways, and a great show that has great seasons. He gets nothing to do and he's only in 2 scenes, but he's finally back. And it turns out Giancarlo is a vampire. And Giancarlo explains he got turned by Abigail because he apparently, predictable, he betrayed her father. And apparently decides to turn Discount James Woods to help him kill Abigail. Discount James Woods accepts, but then he stakes Giancarlo, and then he turns and overpowers Abigail and drinks her blood, and then Discount James Woods now has his new abilities. So then Discount James Woods tells Melissa that he intends to turn her to a vampire under his control after biting her. Then during the fight, Abigail rescues Melissa, and the two decide to team up, and they manage to stake the inexperienced Discount James Woods. And then Discount James Woods is dead, and Melissa is now free from the vampire's curse. And then, of course, Abigail's father shows up, though. Finally shows up, like, where the fuck were you looking for your daughter this whole time? Don't know why you didn't just show up and kill them when they kidnapped her. Then he threatens Melissa. But Abigail says, no, she saved my life, don't kill her. And then stands up to her dad. So her dad relents and orders Joey to leave. So, yeah, like Melissa's character. So Melissa's character goes to finally reunite with her son. And Melissa then eats a lollipop. Goes in the car and eats a fucking lollipop. Our last shot of the movie is her eating a lollipop. Film over. Roll the credits. So yeah, this had the twist of a Saw movie. Literally just feels like you're watching a fucking Saw sequel, just with a 12-year-old kid that thinks she's Jigsaw as a vampire. And probably not wearing diapers. Yeah, kid probably didn't wear any diapers. How creative was that? Like, the thing is with this ending, we don't see what happens with Joey afterwards. Where's the rest of Joey's fate? Does she just return to the real neighborhood, get shut out by her son, and never gets to see him again? Yeah, like, if she probably even has a son at all, who probably really doesn't like her for abandoning him? Or does she immediately get noticed by cops covered in blood, and then go to fucking jail, or probably get sentenced to fucking death for the kidnapping that happened at the beginning of the film? Because I'm surprised, like, neighbors probably didn't hear the whole kidnapping tactics, so I'm sure witnesses would have probably saw it, and I'm surprised the cops weren't called sooner. So, I mean, she's covered in blood at the end, so she'd still probably have to go to jail for committing a crime, aka kidnapping, like also her idiot comrades took part in, but they all died, and she's the only one standing, so she's probably gonna go to fucking jail. Off screen. Wouldn't be surprised if she goes to jail. Now, I'll admit, like, as much as I didn't like this movie, there's some good qualities that prevent this from being as bad as Imaginary and Night Swim. I'll admit, like, of all the characters, I guess I could deal with Melissa in this movie. As much as I'm not a fan of Melissa's character in the Scream movies that much, sorry, her character ain't no Sidney or Nev Campbell. I do kind of feel bad for her in real life, because basically, last year, y'all remember Melissa got fired from her lead role in Scream 7, what was going to be her lead role in Scream 7, because apparently she made a bunch of social media posts of the Israel stuff I don't want to mention here. I'm not going to mention any of the Melissa stuff. And Christopher Landon decided to fire her from the film, as did also Spyglass. So yeah. So basically, Spyglass and Landon... No, Spyglass kind of pretty much... Spyglass Entertainment mostly kind of backstabbed her. And some people are going to backlash me for feeling bad for her, but I don't think she should have gotten fired because of some posts or comments. Then again, it's wholly weird. They backstabbed Gina Carano for the same thing that fired her from Mandalorian, Hence why season 3 fucking bombed, because Disney is too much chicken shits and only cares about their reputation. And didn't want to admit the truth. Yeah, like, Melissa's character in this movie was the only one that seemed like very reluctant with the crime. And I did like some of the normal scenes between her and Abigail. She seemed like the only sane and only normal one of the group and probably just got dragged into this whole situation. And the gore, I did love the gore. I will admit this movie had some good gore. Like a vampire movie should. The gore in the finale was pretty great. But just because there's gore in this movie doesn't automatically make a movie good. Other than that, other than those few things I liked about this movie, was this movie scary? No. Was it original? No. Was it suspenseful? Nope. Was it disturbing? Nope. Does this movie have majority of other likable leads, save for one? So no. Was the movie lazy? Oh yeah. Was it boring? Definitely. Was it generic? Absolutely. Were most of the characters assholes? Or just dumbasses? Yes and fucking yes. All in all, guys, Abigail's an improvement over worse horror movies I've seen this year, but it's still not good. And guys, we're not even nearly finished a year yet, so don't go. So, yeah, before those who want to backlash me for not liking this horror movie, sorry guys, I'm not here to like every movie that comes out. Like, and honestly, guys, like, we still have lots more months to go. And I'll get around to watching Immaculation when I'm able to. It's on streaming now. I'll get around to watching it when I get the chance. Anyways, guys, in the end, Abigail, if you didn't like the Scream movies Rio Sans did, I probably would avoid this one for sure, because it's basically just a lazy wannabe Saw with a vampire girl. So you're probably not going to like this if you didn't like those Scream movies they did. And it's not even original. If you didn't like Don't Breathe, you'll probably also not like this because it takes elements from that movie. If you love Saw, but you hate when Saw gets ripped off, you'll also probably not like this. Because this movie steals literally concepts from Saw, and twists from a Saw movie. Anyways, guys, that's it for my rant on Abigail. And if you're wondering how I'm going to rank Abigail, here's how I'm going to rate this movie. So overall, if you aren't Radio Silence fans, you're probably not going to like this either, and I would just go watch any better movie with this plot because those are more creative than this movie is. And if you're wondering how I'm going to rank Abigail, I'm going to give Abigail a 5 out of 10. Alright, there we go, guys. Now tell me in the comments down below what you thought of Abigail if you saw it, whether you liked it personally. But just don't go saying rude things about me, saying I'm too much of an idiot for not liking this film. Okay? You like the movie, each their own. That's fine. If you liked it, I'm happy you liked the movie. I just did not like this film. It was just a wannabe, it was just literally attempting to be a wannabe Saw sequel. Most of the time. Majority. And taking elements from another not good horror film, Don't Breathe. That's why. Okay? So, sorry this will piss people off, but it's just my honest opinion. But yeah, I want to know in the comments below what you thought of Abigail. Till then, guys, that'll be it for this rant. Thank y'all for watching. If you like this, want to see more, don't forget to like, subscribe to Don G. Corleone.